You know, it's kind of funny looking at the Miami Heat after all of the years of Jimmy Butler where people were saying you have to trade for a second star in order to make a deep run in the Eastern Conference. This is coming after Jimmy Butler's first run that he went on with the Miami Heat in 2020, where he took them to an NBA Finals, and then he did it again in 2023. And people are saying, look, you need to trade for a second star to pair alongside Jimmy Butler, and you can really do something. And Pat Riley always said, nah, I like the roster we got. And he said it again and again and again. So now you have no Jimmy Butler. And the one time where you probably needed to use that 13th draft pick that you have in order to rebuild and maybe get a smaller star like a John Moran or somebody of that nature, even Trey Murphy III, for example, to help complete your roster without blowing up your entire future. You blow up your entire future for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, the Giannis Antetokounmpo tenure of the Milwaukee Bucks is finally to a close. Giannis going to the Miami Heat as of an hour ago. The Bucks are trading franchise icon Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis for Tyler Hero, Kolo Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparas Yakochunas, 3 first-round picks, including the 13th in tomorrow night's draft, 1 pick swap, and 1 second-rounder, sources tell Shams Charania and ESPN. This is extremely interesting, right? Because the Miami Heat finally make a splash for a big star, but they got absolutely fleeced. Allow me to explain. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BoxInOne, a basketball podcast and social media content creation platform created by Royce Chand and Joaquin Powell, myself talking right now. Giannis is finally traded. He is free from the shackles of Milwaukee, and I think the biggest story, obviously, is Giannis going to Miami, getting his wish. The Knicks were his preferred destination, and a lot of interesting things have been happening just in the media the last hour, right? We're hearing that if Giannis signed with the Timberwolves, he would have signed an extension. This is also a Miami Heat team that has not retained Norman Powell yet. So we're seeing a lot of interesting things kind of take shape in terms of where teams are going. You also had Ayo getting signed for 5 years, $112 million. Julius Randle being shipped to the Purgatory, aka the Brooklyn Nets. We're seeing a lot of interesting moves being made to clear up cap space across the league. Claxton traded to the Bulls for virtually nothing that Chicago had to give up. But the biggest trade of tonight, obviously, is Giannis going to the Heat. I think looking at the Heat roster right now, we'll include Norman Powell. You have Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, you have Jovic, you have Giannis, Bam, Andrew Wiggins. What is that doing? Like in the Eastern Conference that has the New York Knicks, that has the Indiana Pacers still retaining most of their team, minus Nesmith, and also getting Zubac, a Boston Celtics team that still has most of their roster, a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers that still has most of their roster, the Washington Wizards with the first pick, and as it stands, Trae Young, Keyshawn George, Bilal Coulibaly, AJ DeBansta probably, or Darren Peterson, Alex Sarr, Anthony Davis, etc. The Detroit Pistons. You have all of these teams that have cores and a star guy. For Milwaukee, you get a lot of young pieces back. You get the hometown hero, Tyler Hero, but most importantly, you finally are in a position to rebuild, or with your picks, you can trade up, get maybe a top 10 pick. You have the 10th pick. Now you can maybe get a top 8 pick potentially with one of those picks. If you package both of them, you could use those picks to get another star before tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot the Milwaukee Bucks can do. You can move on from Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma now, probably, now that you got Antetokounmpo and Portis off of your team. It's a lot of interesting things the Milwaukee Bucks can do. The point is, everybody's team already is established as a contender, or it's pointing towards the future. The Miami Heat, you're in a dead spot, right? Because on one end, yes, you got Giannis. On the other end, what did it cost you? To quote Thanos, everything. It cost you Tyler Hero, Kolo Ware. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is the one that is really like, dag, Miami had to give up Jaquez Jr., get Giannis, because 6th Man of the Year finalist probably should have won. This is a fleece for the Milwaukee Bucks. You get a future, you get a now, you have guys that are used to playing at a high level, you have young guys as well. I'm thinking Milwaukee probably drafts Yaxel tomorrow with the 10th pick, because Yaxel and Kolo Ware in the front court is really interesting. You have Ryan Rollins, Tyler Hero, and then Kuzma and Turner. You kind of package them up and maybe another pick in order to get a solidified 3. They did really good with this trade. And I think it's even crazy, right? Because looking at the Boston Celtics offer, in a couple days on the channel, we already said that trading Jaylen Brown for Giannis is not a good move. But Jaylen Brown and multiple first-round picks. Allegedly, this deal didn't happen because Boston did not want to include Hugo Gonzalez. It's just funny that it's like, okay, we don't want to not trade away our franchise guy that helped build us and get us a chip. But Hugo Gonzalez, though, nah, that's big Hugo, bro. We cannot do that. But still, Milwaukee rejected that deal, and you got a haul back for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Credit to the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Because this is a situation with Giannis where, whether it was New York, whether it was Chicago, whether it was Boston, whether it was Miami, people were all always wondering in today's market, what does Giannis Antetokounmpo actually go for? Well, the 32-year-old champion still goes for a lot, and I think the Bucks did pick the package that had the best bang for their buck. I mean, obviously Minnesota probably was going to offer Gobert, DiVincenzo, and Randall, but it just didn't work out in Minnesota's favor. You have the roster that you have, but most importantly, Giannis Antetokounmpo is now a member of the Miami Heat. And again, just reiterating what we said earlier, now there are some moves the Miami Heat can make, right? You can move Wiggins, you can move Jovic, maybe see what those guys go for, dangling them out there, either get another backup guard or a starting guard. It's just going to be really interesting to see how Giannis fits in Miami, again going to a team without a truly bona fide backcourt. Giannis and Bam defensively is going to be absolute hell and going to be elite, but I'm wondering, is it enough? This is the NBA where it's not just one guy anymore, it's the role players and the people around them. Right now it's Giannis, Bam, and a lot of guys that are going to be handing them water, including Bobby Portis. So it's just really interesting again, right? Because you have a team that traded everything away for a star, but this is no longer a one-man league. Clearly, you need a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6 on your team, and the Heat gave away all of that to get their number one in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Are we saying that the Heat are going to be absolutely dog water next season? No, they're probably going to be a top 7, top 6 team in the Eastern Conference, but when it comes to going against teams like the Cavaliers, like the champion New York Knicks, like the Indiana Pacers, like the Boston Celtics, even the Detroit Pistons, like we said, we dare say the Washington Wizards, they're just going to struggle because they simply do not have the depth to compete. With that being said, though, guys, that is going to do it for us today. Again, as always, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow all of these socials in the description. Wherever you get your basketball content, we are there, whether it is TikTok, X, Threads, YouTube, where you're watching this video, Spotify, Instagram, and again, for the last time, as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all in the next one.